Good morning. It is Wednesday, October the 19th. I'm Shane Seeley, and this is the CBC Morning Report. The Barbados Labour Party will be unveiling a new party membership card in keeping with the times. Chief Executive Officer Patricia Paris says they can no longer use outdated documents and will unveil it at this weekend's annual party conference.
We issued the card because we're into the 21st century. So we have to move along into so that is why we have abolished the book.
Now, a lot of interest has been from young people, as we hear from member Kurt Haynes, who will also be contesting one of the two open positions at the annual conference.
In our upcoming internal elections, where the posts for second and third vice chairman are, being contested by persons under the age of 45. So that augurs well for the future of the Barbados Labour Party.
Meanwhile, the BLP is expecting some 1,100 delegates for its annual conference this year, being held under the theme Riding Rough Waves with Resilience, Taking Fresh Guard. The conference gets underway on Friday and ends on Sunday in Queen's Park. Ms. Paris told a media briefing that after the COVID break, a number of new elements will be unveiled.
These delegates will include a delegation from the New York chapter and the UK branch. Like me, the delegates are eagerly looking forward to this year's conference because the conference chair would have said that we did not have a full conference since 2019. So it will be the first one since 2019. Our annual conference booklet this year will be over 100 pages. It is the first time that we will be having a booklet of this size.
And Ms. Paris has invited Barbadians to come to the park to hear the Prime Minister.
The highlight of the annual conference will be the feature address from our political leader and chairman and Prime Minister, the Honorable Mia Amor-Motley, on Saturday, 4:30 p.m. in Queen's Park, and is open to the public. So, speaking to persons online, you can come down to Queen's Park, 4:30, to hear the Prime Minister's address.
Coming up on the CBC Morning Report, we'll get updates on health issues in Barbados and Guyana, and we'll also have the latest on the war in Ukraine.
Is on every Thursday in a community near you.
The community is well and alive.
Come on down and have a line with all of me. The more mature folk come to dance, to sing.
Keep the bones smooth.
Q in the community is your place to meet friends, to socialize, and just to be you.
Yes, come on down and take in the karaoke.
Whether you're coming from north, south, east, or west, we have a bus for you.
Q in the community.
Stay tuned to Q100.7 FM to find out where we will be next, and follow us on Facebook.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up.
Morning Barbados will be coming to your parish.
There are reports of a rise in the number of cases of people presenting with flu-like symptoms at doctors' offices here on the island. As a result, the Barbados Association of Medical Practitioners is warning people to be cautious and to protect themselves. First Vice President Dr. Adana Grandison notes that this time of year coincides with what is traditionally known as flu season.
The seasonal flu is caused by the influenza virus. There are 4 types of influenza viruses: A, B, C, and D. Human influenza A and B viruses cause seasonal flu epidemics of disease. known as flu season. Flu season most commonly occurs between the months of October to May, with peaks in December and February.
Dr. Grandison adds the flu virus can present with symptoms such as muscle aches, tiredness, cough, fever, sore throat, runny or stuffy nose, and headaches. She shared some of the precautions and tips that you can take to protect yourself this flu season.
There's no better way to protect yourself than getting vaccinated. Seasonal flu vaccines are available and have been available and are extremely efficient and effective in preventing persons from having some of the potentially serious complications associated with seasonal flu. Most importantly, avoid close contact, cover your mouth and nose, clean your hands, avoid touching your eyes, nose and mouth, and in general, practice good healthy habits. These include getting adequate rest, being physically active, drinking plenty of fluids, and eating nutritionally dense foods. I wish to encourage everyone, please protect yourself during this flu season.
A team from the Caribbean Public Health Agency is currently assessing Guyana's healthcare systems with the aim of developing strategies for improvement. The assessment follows a request made by the Health Ministry there to strengthen the local healthcare system of Guyana.
The Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPA, is assessing 5 crucial areas in Guyana's healthcare. These include food surveillance, tourism and health, laboratories, vector-borne diseases, and communicable diseases. Head of Vector Disease at CARPA, Dr. Horace Cox, says the assessment aims to strengthen and boost Guyana's investigation, testing, and response to diseases, while preventing illnesses and improving health. In this regard, he says the team will also train local health professionals during their time here.
They'll do some field activities as well. It's a 2-day training, and they'll be looking to basically transfer some knowledge and see what obtains on the ground, what are some of the gaps and how we can address those gaps. And if I may, lastly, as part of the comprehensive support that's being offered, there's also what we call the communicable disease assessment. So this is much broader.
After the assessment is complete, the findings will be used to develop a strategy for the ministry. Cox says the strategy is expected to vividly outline the steps the country can take to improve the healthcare system.
So it will be a cross-section of not only public health labs, but also some of the private labs to get a feel as to what obtains in Guyana. And from that, we plan to use the findings to inform how we can offer that support and make Guyana stronger.
The assessment being carried out by the Caribbean Public Health Agency is expected to reduce Guyana's disease mortality rate.
Over to Ukraine now, and the country has warned of an emerging critical risk to its power grid after the President Volodymyr Zelensky said that repeated Russian bombardments had destroyed 1/3 of the country's power facilities as winter approaches. Russian attacks rocked energy facilities in Kyiv and urban centers across the country, causing blackouts and disrupting water supplies 1 day after the capital was bombarded with a swarm of suicide drones.
Ukrainian officials say 3 missiles hit a power facility in Kyiv. Russia is striking critical infrastructure across the country, and there are reports of attacks in the cities of Dnipro and Zhytomyr. Mohammed Jamjoon has more from Kyiv.
Another fresh barrage of air attacks across the country, across many cities, many regions, including here in Kyiv. In fact, there were 3 missiles that hit critical infrastructure sites in the Desnyansky district, which that is east of the capital. It's on the left bank of the Dnipro River. It's about 30 minutes from where we are here in Kyiv, in the capital of Ukraine. The mayor of Kyiv, Vitaly Klitschko, says that 3 people were killed as a result of those strikes on a power plant. That was one of the facilities that was hit in Desnyansky. 3 people were killed. They were all employed by that power plant. Also, there were strikes that happened in Zhytomyr. That's a city neighboring Kyiv where water and electricity is out. There's also strikes that happened in Dnipro and also in Kharkiv. Let me talk a little bit more for a moment about Kyiv and about the Desnyansky district. We were out there a little bit earlier. We could not access the power plant that was hit, but we did speak to residents there who were without water and power, and it really just went to show just how tough things are right now in Ukraine.
Let's go over to Germany now, and that country has sacked its cybersecurity chief after reports of possible ties with Russian intelligence. An Interior Ministry spokesperson says that official has been relieved of his duties as president of the Federal Office for Information Security with immediate effect.
This is a very curious situation that the German government finds itself in which the man who has been running the cybersecurity agency of Germany for several years has been required to vacate his position. Arne Schönbohm, accused of links to the Russian security services. We know that the minister, the Interior Minister, Nancy Faeser, wanted him gone a week ago. He is now out of office. The accusations against him are that a firm that he used to be in charge of was linked to the Russian security services, and that in some way he has been involved in conversations with people who themselves have been linked to the Russian security services. What makes this more complicated is the fact that Mr. Schönbohm referred himself to a disciplinary procedure himself and wanted to know what the allegations against him are. Well, he is now out of position, but it is interesting that other political parties, the Green Party, the Christian Democrats, are asking questions of the German Interior Minister as to why she has taken the action she has taken. And it is worth making the point here that many people have said that they believed Mr. Schönbohm was doing a relatively good job. It appears as though, rather like Caesar's wife, that he must be above suspicion, above guilt. And it is said, the ministry has said, that they believe that in order for the people working at the cybersecurity agency to be able to be neutral and independent, Mr. Schönbohm had to leave his job. Certainly that's the view being put across by the Interior Minister.
A time check for you, 6:16 on this Wednesday morning, and let's go over to Tisha and say good morning and see what's happening on today's edition of Morning Barbados. Tisha, what are you looking at today?
Well, have you ever wondered if HR is a strategic partner in your business? We will discuss that today as Hermab comes through on Morning Barbados. We're also talking about the Huntsman Games coming up. We'll let you know who's going and how Barbados will be a part of that. Plus, a very special lion will be dropping by. If you're wondering who it is, we'll tell you more. And we're talking post-menopausal bleeding with our OB-GYN. That's all coming up this morning on Morning Barbados. Shane?
Thank you so much. Good to see you, Tisha.
Same here.
We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll have more news.
Barbados, get up!
Morning Barbados will be coming to your parish live every Friday until November. Stay tuned from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. to see which parish we're in. Join us for it all.
Good morning, morning Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up, morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
Barbados is getting international help to better protect its citizens from social shocks caused by crises like disasters. This was the focus of a special training course at the Accra Hotel yesterday, or Shane Jones reports.
The Shock Responsive Social Protection in the Caribbean 4-day training course has been designed by the World Food Programme in partnership with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency and the Government of Barbados. The 3 modules course will bring together learning and knowledge from a rich body of experience, evidence and training materials. It aims to develop and enhance capacities to strengthen social protection systems through preparedness measures and build technical competencies to design and implement social protection programs to support individuals, households, and communities affected by shocks. Food insecurity refers to the lack of reliable access to a sufficient quantity of affordable, nutritious food, and Representative and Country Director of the World Food Programme's Caribbean Multi-Country Office, Regis Chapman, says 52% of Barbadians who've participated in recent surveys are either moderately or severely food insecure.
There's a danger that these people and others could be left further behind if social protection systems are not equipped to reach them before it's too late. So the World Food Programme's work in the English and Dutch-speaking Caribbean seeks to strengthen social protection, disaster management, and food systems, particularly in response to crises. In the area of social protection, we focus on tailored strategic interventions to enhance institutional arrangements, targeting mechanisms, data and information systems, delivery mechanisms, coordination, and financing mechanisms.
Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs Kirk Humphrey says the relationships government has with its partners in the social protection system is critical and must be strengthened.
I'm pretty much convinced that if we have a strong social protection system, if we have one that works, we not only respond faster, but then we have a little bit more resilience to deal with it better in the first place. And therefore, if we can build those systems, we prevent the worst case scenarios from happening. Because we have very little control over the shocks that are coming. We've seen that. We know that we have very little control over whether there is going to be a hurricane or not. We have very little control over whether there's going to be ashfall or not. We now started planning for things that we never even planned for before.
Mr. Humphrey says too often the social aspect of a crisis is ignored.
We treated COVID primarily as if it were a medical issue, which it was, of course. But it was also a social problem. And if we kept that at the forefront of our thinking, then we would have put in place extra systems to be able to help the poor. I know, for example, that we are now dealing with persons with disabilities who suffered immensely during COVID. Immensely during COVID, because we were so concerned about our capacity to be able to help people to live, that we forgot that people needed to feel alive even as they lived. And there were persons with disabilities who told me they could not communicate because of the mask, people who read lips. People with disabilities told me that they were in their houses alone, nobody came to check on them.
During the launch, representatives of the World Food Programme presented 95 tablets to help the Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs digitalization program.
Shane Jones reporting there. Arthur Smith Primary School students showed all the wonders of local food at a recently staged market. The various displays made it clear that they know how to do more than eat food. In fact, as the school presented its own World Food Day celebration under the theme Local Foods, Endless Possibilities, Fabulous Fruits, Versatile Vegetables, the creativity and versatility came to the fore with the presentations. The principal there is John Quinton. He says the Ministry of Education is taking a different approach to learning while instilling the value of healthy eating as they put their own spin on it.
The ministry has created a special theme for this year, October Education Month. It is called Promoting Quality Education Through Healthy Minds and Bodies. And here at the school, we created a theme that runs in alignment with the wider theme of the ministry, which says local foods, many possibilities, something to that effect. And against that background, the whole concept of the World Food Day emerged, as well as a market day as well. And so today we had both. We had displays across the classrooms. A lot of interesting items were sent in, from food and dishes and drinks and cosmetics made out of vegetable matter. It was amazing. In addition to that, we also had the market here, where we allow persons from the community and parents and teachers and everybody else to come and make some purchases at reasonable prices of some of the local foods here in Barbados. And to me, that was the highlight of the day. And I can say it was an overwhelming success because of the interest that was played by the teachers and the parents and the students. And we're going to do this again, God spare life, next year.
Each class there worked with a different fruit or vegetable, and Class 2A teacher Ingrid Husbands-Griffith looked at all aspects of the sweet potato.
We started with the journey of the sweet potato, coming over from South America with the Amerindians, over to Barbados, and then from there they planted the sweet potatoes, so you have the ground with the slits, and then you have the end product, which is the sweet potato. There are varying types of sweet potato, but today we're just featuring the red sweet potato and the cream sweet potato.
Well, the students had their share of the various sweet potato dishes, along with hearing all about its journey to Barbados. The creativity of one student was borne out in her use of the cucumber to produce various soaps and aromatherapy products through her business, Smiles with Ashley.
We made cucumber soap with aloe vera also, and we made cucumber lip balm, and we made a mist that you can put on your face after you are finished showering.
Let's go over to the Bahamas now, where persons there on bail continue to be a challenge for law enforcement officials. Dozens have committed crimes, including murder. The Minister of National Security, Wayne Munro, says the matter is one they're looking to address.
That is a concern that we will be meeting with the Office of the DPP to determine how they are articulating our concern to the courts, because the courts act on the material you put before them. And so we're concerned that persons, I think a very high percentage of persons out on bail for murder are the subject of themselves being murdered. And the disturbing thing is the environs in which this happens and the potential for collateral damage, because we have a number of those. We need to satisfy ourselves that our concerns are being effectively communicated to the judiciary with the accompanying evidence that they can have to make reason-informed decisions.
The minister clarifies that a company called Metro Security is in charge of the electronic monitor system. However, he says the actual providers are generally American companies who have the GPS and satellite capabilities needed. In the case of those committing crimes while being monitored, Munro says the device cannot predict the actions of an individual.
Just monitors where you are. It doesn't monitor your mind. And so what the monitor does is tells us where you are.
In sports, the Windies are currently in a virtual do-or-die match at the ICC World Cup qualifiers after losing their opening group match to Scotland. The Windies are taking on Zimbabwe in their penultimate fixture. I can tell you the score right now is 58-3. Zimbabwe is chasing the West Indies target of 154. The West Indies scoring 153 for 7. Top scoring for the Windies was Johnson Charles. He made 45 off 36 balls, but a real subpar batting performance yet again by the Windies. The next batsman making some runs there, Rovman Powell, 28 off 21 balls and 23 off 18. The action is currently live on MCTV's ESPN channel. We'll keep you updated as the morning progresses. I'll give you an update at 7. Let's take a look at weather now. The temperature is currently 27 degrees Celsius. It's feeling more like 31, though. It's partly cloudy on the outside. The relative humidity is 82%. The barometric pressure 1012.6 millibars this morning. And those winds are blowing out of the east at about 24 kilometers per hour. We'll see a high tide, well, later on tonight. There will be a low tide this afternoon, late in the afternoon at 4 minutes to 6. Those seas are smooth to moderate in open water. Swells are between 1 and 1.5 meters and increasing. Well, today in Barbados, we'll have a mix of clear skies with cloudy periods in those northwestern and western districts. You'll get a few scattered light to moderate showers during the afternoon. Elsewhere, there will be a mix of sunshine and clouds with a few brief isolated light showers. And tonight, the general picture will look like this, a mix of clear skies and clouds with periods of brief scattered light showers. And here's a look at the weather in some selected international cities. And that's my time for this edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'm Shane Seeley. I'll see you at 7 with headline news. Up next is Tishia with Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning and welcome on this beautiful Wednesday morning. It's already October 19th. Morning Barbados is back for another bite of this Wednesday, and we're going to get our day started together. I'm Tishia Hines. Thank you so much for joining us online and live on CBC TV 8. We're going to be here until 8 o'clock this morning, sharing some news, views, and interviews that you absolutely will love. Remember, you can reach us via email at morningbarbados@cbc.bb or check us out online as well. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're also on YouTube, so make sure you come on through. Hey, if you're up and moving, that's as good a reason as any to say thank you, God, for giving me an opportunity to see another day. So make sure that you say your thanks before you move out. And of course, we're having some drizzles outside, some showers in some places. The forecast is indeed partly cloudy. But we have all sunshine for you this morning on Morning Barbados. So coming up, we're going to be telling you all about human resources, your HR department. A lot of people often wonder if the HR department is working with us to get to the strategic goals of the company, or if we're working at odds. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about that. And we have some wonderful people coming through to talk about it. Mr. Nicholas Roberts, who is the Vice President of HERMAP, will be here, as well as Joan Underwood, the President. They will be back discussing that with us today. We'll be reaching into Toronto and sharing some new music from Dario Devon, a singer that you're familiar with. He was a part of a big program a few years ago, Beige to the World. So he will be in and sharing that new music with us as well. Walking in Wholeness to Barbados is very interesting. Healing spirit that's coming to the nation, and we're telling you more about that. We're going to be talking about how the ministry is transforming lives and how you can get involved. Reverend Timothy Roberts and Pastor Matthew Thorne will be in to talk to us about that. Also, the district governor of the Lions Club is visiting to review the activities and progress of the clubs here on island and to share some views and solutions for club development and enhancement as they go forward. So it really is a packed show. So let's get this show on the road, starting with some wonderful ladies aged to perfection who are here to share with us all about the Huntsman World Senior Games that came off October 3rd to 15th. They're here sharing with us Kathy Harper Hall. I know you know that name, needs no introduction. She's manager and athlete of the Senior Athletes of Barbados, and Sandra Marie, who is coach and also an athlete with the Senior Athletes of Barbados. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Tisha.
It's so good to have you both with us. Good morning, and looking as gorgeous as always.
Yes.
All right. Let's start at the beginning. Kathy, you won 6 gold and 3 silver. I believe in total, Barbados was the country to watch, walking away with 61 medals. So tell us, first of all, about how the games went this year.
Well, first, let me correct that. I won 3 golds and 3 silvers. And we had a total of 65 medals. Where we miscounted at the beginning, we had a total of 65 medals. The games were, to sum it all up, I can only say awesome. It was really a very interesting experience for us. Bearing in mind that the team ranged in age from 55 to me at 84. And there were 19 of us altogether. There were 17 from Barbados and 2 Barbadians who joined us there. And what I want to say here is that the Huntsman World Senior Games is a special activity for seniors, for elderly people. And our experience in Utah has told us that it is extremely important to age actively. There were a total of 27 sports, but we only participated in track and field. Competition was very stiff, and especially for the persons in the late 50s and the early 60s, they had a lot more competition. I myself only had 7 people in my age group, but I was able to get through to those 7 people to get 3 golds and 3 silvers. But the younger ones, they really had to struggle a lot because some of them had to run heats. The organization of the game was extremely high, and we are really looking forward to being there again next year. But I want Sandra to tell you more about the team's performance.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that segue. Sandra, so over to you. Before we get into the actual performance at the game, let's talk about the preparation.
Well, like most things, our preparation was really strenuous leading up to the games. For some of us, we had just came off from the games in May, where we went to Fort Lauderdale to the American Nationals. So we had just taken a week or so, and then we started our preparation. So our preparation involved something like 3 days of training, plus you have 2 days where you do strength training. So you can tell straight away you have 5 straight days out of the 7 doing really serious training. So our athletes were well prepared. Yes, there were some little kinks and so on that I was hoping to get out before we left, but overall the preparation was adequate to help us to get to the level for which we had gotten. And not only does the training, also our meal preparation, where we had to be focused on eating well as well to keep us up at our ages, to keep us healthy, because thank heaven, there were no injuries or anything. We were well prepared.
Well, you certainly are well prepared, and I don't know what you're talking about at your age, Kathy, here at 84, and you, I won't dare ask you the age, but I mean 55
no,
to 84.
I can tell you.
Amazing stuff.
I can tell you I'm the 65 plus age group.
Listen, it's not a good thing to come on national television and tell stories. You most certainly do not look that age. You look wonderful for your age. And those medals are breaking down the screen. Let's see if we got these numbers right. You got 4 gold and 1 silver?
Yes. And I came
Congratulations.
4th. Thank you. And was also 4th in the broad jump. So they normally give you a ribbon. So they acknowledge your performance up to, I think, 6th or 7th place.
All right. And before we go back to Kathy, she's the one who wanted you to talk a little bit more about the overall team's performance and how everybody did with that corrected 65 medals. She says she miscounted at the beginning. We don't want to leave anybody out. 65 medals. That's tremendous.
Yes, there were 65 medals, and of the golds, there were 23. The silvers were 28, and the bronze was 14. Now, overall, now, if you're looking at the persons who were outstanding with the golds, we had Angela Jackson. She did mostly field events. She got 7 gold medals. Sorry, she got 7 medals in all. And from these medals, there were 4. I think she got 4 golds. Yes, let me get her tally right. Yes, she got 4 golds. Then we had Bonita Austin. She also took part in the. Yes, there's Angela. We had Bonita Austin. She got 3 golds, but she got 6 medals. We had Kathy. Again, 3 gold and 3 silver. Well, me, again, Sandra, I got 5 overall, which was 4 golds again and 1 silver. The other outstanding persons with that kind of number.
Patrick Bourne.
Yeah.
Patrick Bourne.
Yeah, he got 6 medals in all, which was 2 golds. He got 2 golds. Henderson Walt first, he got 3 golds and 1 bronze. Wendy Barris Smith, she got 2 golds, and silver and a bronze. Beverly Brathwaite, well, she got 2 silvers and a bronze. I'm looking at trying to get all the golds in.
Sandra, you just need to say Barbados. You just need to say Barbados cleaned up.
Yes, we did. We certainly did.
We did there. Actually, a comment was made when we were there. When an athlete said, Barbados came and took all the medals and left the rest for us. But we really put in an effort, I must say. And the team supported each other. We were there. Although persons weren't competing, they were there for each other. We supported each other. You know, it was good, very good camaraderie.
Yeah, traditional Bajan spirit. And before we go, Kathy, at 84, you're still going strong. I saw that photo of you posing just now, and I was there thinking, Tisha, you really need to get back out there and start running, because I can't let you outdo me, Kathy. So tell me, what keeps you going? You know, after all this time, you know, growing up, I've always heard about Kathy Harper Hall, a lot with netball and so on. But I mean, you have continued on your journey as an athlete. What keeps you going every day?
I think what really keeps me going is hard work, really, because I do a lot. I do a lot of voluntary work. I work a lot among young people, so they help to keep me young because I work with mostly the youth. And in addition to that, I keep a clean spirit. I do not carry things inside of me at all. Whatever is happening, I let it out and I'm finished with that. So, you know, I live a happy, comfortable life, and thank God I am relatively healthy. I went through a bad bout of illness earlier in the year in May, but apart from that, I am relatively healthy. So that keeps me going. And as I said before, I believe in active aging. So I am very, very active. But Tisha, before I go, I really want to say thanks to a couple people who really supported us. And I really just want to start off with those 7 people who traveled with us as supporters. They were awesome. They were awesome. They were there for us. They were part of us. And I want to say thanks to the Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs, because they also supported us, even though they were not the people, they did not send us, but they were right there behind us. I want to thank the Barbados Olympic Association who assisted us. I want to thank Forte Design and Construction, who sponsored one of the athletes. He actually sponsored Henderson Waltress. I want to say special thanks to Dennis Thornhill and Royal Clark, because they're the ones who prepared the team. And of course, Sandra was part of the coaching team while we were here. and to Donna Griffith at American Airlines, who really went beyond the call of duty to ensure that we got our flights organized, and not only organized, but she helped us to get the best prices. So those are the people I really want to say thanks to.
And
then we are looking forward.
Continue.
We're looking forward to being there next year. But before we get back to Utah next year, we have Pittsburgh, because we have all qualified from these games to go on to Pittsburgh to the National Senior Olympics. And we're all looking forward to that in June next year before we get on to Utah in October.
Well, you certainly have to come on back and update us on that. Thank you, ladies, for your time, and congratulations to you guys and the entire team on all your medals. I am so jealous.
Come and go with us next year.
I can't make it. Kathy, I'm not there. What do you mean?
No.
You said 55.
You have to get there.
I'm not there yet. When I get there, maybe we can talk about that.
Come as a supporter first.
To support you.
Yes, and then you will see for yourself what you need to do.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. And I'm sure that was a wonderful tribute to all of the athletes. If you know any athletes, make sure you reach out and offer them your congratulatory messages. We're going to take a break and come back on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Because you love English Premier League, MCTV has got it back. Now you can watch all the games of the English Premier League plus UEFA and NFL on MCTV. Current customers can upgrade to Max Pack Extra at just $23. Call MCTV today at 228-6288 to upgrade, or come in and sign up for a new service. Football fans, let MCTV get you back in the game.
When disaster threatens, it is comforting to know there's a team working to deliver credible, comprehensive, and up-to-date information. A team that is committed to serving you. A team that will be there before, during, and after the disaster. That is Team CBC, here for you this hurricane season.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
6:47. Get up, get moving. Have a great day at school. Have a great day at work. If you're staying at home, that's even better. Have a great day at home as well. So we have a very special visitor joining us this morning, District Governor of Sub-District 60B, and he's going to be joining us with Lion Rawl Gibson. They're talking all about the visitor of the District Governor and what the plans are, why he's here, and sharing a little bit about the Lions and Leos clubs. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome.
Good morning, Tisha.
Good morning. All right, well, let me start with you, Lion Rawl Gibson. Good to see you, first of all, Rawl.
Hi, good to see you as well, Tisha. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Okay, well,
Good.
Let me let you set the platform and talk to us about this official visit of your district governor.
Yes, good morning, Barbados. Traditionally, the district would visit, it would be called an audit, where he would review the club's progress through the year. Our district governor this year has not deemed it quite an audit, because the audit has a kind of a strong, analysis connotation. So he's just more having a chat with us and discussing, how we're progressing. It's more a lighthearted feel, and to see how the clubs can better themselves with regards to various areas, whether it's with membership, leadership, or with our service impact. So those are the areas that we are focusing on this year. Service being first, because as Lions, our motto is we serve, and then our membership, which is a very important cog or pillar within our organization. Without our membership, we really can't function. And then our leadership allows us to continue through sustainable or succession planning. So those are the three areas that we would have touched on or would have focused on during the audits, which are currently ongoing. We're only on day 3 now.
Well, let me say my official welcome to you, District Governor, and I'm going to make way for you to share your thoughts on, what you've seen and how you feel 3 days in about what your clubs are doing here in Barbados.
Well, there's little left to be said after my zone chair just spoke. He gave an elegant presentation of what Lions, what we're working towards and how we're going to ensure that Lionism stays around for the future to continue serving the communities. The first Lions Club within Subdistrict 60B was formed right here in Barbados. And in the course of my visits to the clubs thus far, I am proud to say that the clubs in Barbados are still continuing to thrive and serve the communities in which they live in. Our zone chair, who oversees all of the clubs in Barbados, has been giving me regular reports on all that has been happening. So during my visit, there was no surprise at all to hear any of the information. All I've been doing is just to encourage the clubs to continue working as a team, to continue building the growth and strength of the clubs, and also to empower any new members, and especially our LEOs, the youth arm of Lions, to ensure that we go from strength to strength.
Now, District Governor, I know you were particularly impressed with the program that was put on for World Food Day, so tell us more about that.
Yes, so I arrived here on Sunday afternoon, and Monday morning my first activity was to go to Hinesbury Primary School, where I worked with the St. Michael Lions Club, and we distributed a break meal to the students there. And serving students and young people in the community has always been important to me, and especially when we go back to a school. My mother is an educator, so I have had this lifelong learning experience where I'm always exposed to it. And I truly believe that a nutritious meal in school is a key to success in learning. We cannot engage the minds if our minds are focused on something else, such as being hungry. So celebrating World Food Day with the kids there at that primary school is very special.
Now, I know you've only been here for 3 days, and it's not very often that I can't pick accents up, but somehow you're sounding a little Bajan.
I think I like to immerse myself into the culture, and to be honest, I am actually really good at doing different accents. So it might be that I just want to be Bajan so bad that that's what's happening.
Well, let me tell you, the Bajan accent is definitely one that people find difficult to do, and you cannot often trick a Bajan, but you are going in and out flawlessly, let me tell you. Okay, so
well, I'm a melting pot, so.
All right, so back to you, Raul. I recognize that, you are overseeing the Leo's clubs as well, which would be representative of a younger demographic. Tell me how young people are doing on that end. Is there still much interest in service organizations?
Well, what I would say is that there has been a little bit of a decline, but over the past 3 or so years, we have been rebuilding the memberships within the clubs. Our membership for both clubs is around 20 to 25 Leos. There are 2 Leo clubs, Leo Club of Barbados East and Leo Club of Bridgetown. And we have it's not always something about quantity, it is about quality. And we have some quality members within our organization. We have about 4 attorneys at law, we have auditors, we have nurses, we have persons who are willing to serve, and it shows in their aptitude. So we are going to be doing some membership drives so that we can make persons more aware of what the young persons are doing and how we allow them to grow. Because Leo stands with leadership, experience, and opportunity. So we give them the opportunity to develop themselves. So on Saturday, we had a zone meeting, which is where all the Lions and Leos come together to share ideas and to spread information. And part of that was that our attorney, two of the attorneys are in the Leo clubs, they would have presented on estate management, and it was well received from the general membership and general body. So we give them the opportunity to shine, and we put them up front, and we are looking to attract more young persons. We want to have programs so that they can, it's not just about work and service, that they're also be developing their skills like public speaking or protocol, any things that they may even find useful within their careers.
That's absolutely excellent. Talk to us about the activities and programs that you have planned moving forward, given the success of the more recent programs that you've been involved with.
Okay, so we've had, as the district government mentioned, we had a few programs with regards to feeding. We've done stuff along with Prime Smart, where we would feed Hillaby Turns Hall students. And we've had what we had recently at Hinesbury. We're looking to do more work. If you're familiar, we have built the eye care center. So we're looking to do more work with QAH. But one of the projects that really we're looking at this quarter or for the next quarter is a hamper drive. So normally as a zone, each club will work autonomously. They have their own autonomy. They can do as they want within obviously the bounds of Lionism, set what projects they want to do. But where there's an overlap, where there's similar projects, we as a zone chairperson, I like to obviously bring the clubs together. We're going to be doing that with Christmas hamper. Christmas is just around the corner, and normally we distribute hampers throughout the country. So what we're looking at, maybe around 400 to 500 minimum hampers to be distributed by the zone through all the clubs. So obviously we like to aim high, but let's say 500, maybe 600 or 700 hampers to be distributed around Christmas time. So that's one of the main projects that we're doing. But coming in November, we're going to have a walk with one or two of the clubs where we are going to be in association with we're going to be working in collaboration with the Diabetes Association. So the World Diabetes Day is recognized on November 3rd and November 14th, on this Sunday, along with them, just to raise awareness on diabetes, because diabetes is in most countries, especially in Barbados. So we really want to raise the awareness of diabetes. And finally, we want to do some community gardening projects where food security is a major issue within most countries and even within Barbados. So we want to go in, and we've started doing that, going into different communities and helping them to get gardening projects started. We want to be more or less giving persons a hand up as opposed to a handout, where they can be able to assist themselves or sustain their livelihood.
All
so
right.
That's where most of our projects are going to go.
Wonderful.
Yes.
All right, District Governor, I don't think there's anything left for you to say. I mean, it seems like, everything is in good hands, and I'm sure that this all ties into what you want your legacy to be as you serve as District Governor.
Of course, and I just want to give a great big shout out because Barbados has a lot to be proud of, and currently the Leo District President is from Barbados, Leo Olivia Brown, and this is a new formed district just for the Leos, and she's leading that district quite well, and that is a Leo to be proud of. So I want to give a shout out to her this morning.
All right, thank you so much for your time, gentlemen, and continue on. Maybe one day I will get to wear one of those yellow vests.
I hope so.
I will hold you to that. Tisha, I will hold you to that. I will find you. I know where to find you, so I'll hold you to that.
Yes, you do. Have a wonderful day. We'll be right back.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
There is no place like home.
But over the past year, home has taken on an especially significant meaning for most. At times, staying at home may be limiting, but it doesn't need to be boring. If you're someone who is...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back to Morning Barbados. 1 minute to go before the 7 o'clock hour and headline news with Shane Seeley. But we have to say a special good morning to everybody associated with or working at the Grantley Adams International Airport. I know you have a very significant anniversary today. So happy anniversary, 84 years to you. We have to say a special good morning and thank you to Mr. Clyde Outram, who keeps us on par and up to date on what's happening relative to Gaia and anything to do with air traffic controlling and flying. So good morning to you, sir. Well, it's time for us to head on over to Shane Seeley as we take in a little bit of the headline news right here on your morning presentation. Shane?
Yes, thank you, Tisha. Here's your headline news for this Wednesday, October 19th. The Barbados Labour Party unveiling a new party membership card in keeping with the times. Chief Executive Officer Patricia Parris says they can no longer use outdated documents and will unveil it at this weekend's annual party conference.
We issued the card because we're into the 21st century. So we have to be move along into the, so that is why we have abolished the book.
Meanwhile, the Barbados Labour Party is expecting some 1,100 delegates for its annual conference this year, being held under the theme Riding Rough Waves with Resilience, Taking Fresh Guard. The conference gets underway on Friday and ends on Sunday in Queen's Park. Ms. Parris told a media briefing that after the COVID break, a number of new elements will be unveiled.
These delegates will include a delegation from the New York chapter and the UK branch. Like me, the delegates are eagerly looking forward to this year's conference because the conference chair would have said that we did not have a full conference since 2019. So it will be the first one since 2019. Our annual conference booklet this year will be over 100 pages. It is the first time that we will be having a booklet of this size.
In other news, in our headline news, there are reports of a rise in the number of cases of people presenting with flu-like symptoms at doctors' offices. As a result, the Barbados Association of Medical Practitioners is warning people to be cautious and protect themselves. BAMP's first Vice President, Dr. Adana Grandison, notes this time of year coincides with what is traditionally known as flu season.
The seasonal flu is caused by the influenza virus. There are 4 types of influenza viruses: A, B, C, and D. Human influenza A and B viruses cause seasonal flu epidemics of disease, known as flu season. Flu season most commonly occurs between the months of October to May, with peaks in December and February.
The West Indies are making inroads in what is a do-or-die match in the ICC World Cup qualifiers. After losing that first one to Scotland, the Windies are doing battle against Zimbabwe in this penultimate fixture. Well, I can tell you so far that Alzari Joseph, he is the pick of the bowlers. He has 2 for 13 off 2 overs. Of course, Akil Hussain, Obed McCoy, Jason Holder, and Odin Smith all have 1 wicket apiece. So in response to 153 for 7, the Windies made that in their first innings in this T20 encounter. Zimbabwe are...
Come on, Q family, make some noise. Are you ready?
Q in the Community is on every Thursday in a community near you.
Q in the Community is well and alive.
Come on down and, have a line with all of me. The more mature folk come to dance, to sing.
Keep the bones smooth.
Q in the Community is your place to meet friends, to socialize, and just to be you.
Yes, come on down and take in the karaoke.
Whether you're coming from north, south, east, or west, we have a bus for you.
Q in the community.
Stay tuned to Q100.7 FM to find out where we will be next, and follow us on Facebook.
On MCTV. And that's our headline news for this morning. I'm Shane Seeley. It's back to you, Tishia.
Thank you. You were missing in action for a few days.
I was. Thank you for holding on for me. I'm always glad that I can lean on you when I'm not strong.
Don't sing the entire song, but good to see you, Shaney.
Always good to see you, Tishia.
All right, so as we continue on Morning Barbados, the time is quickly going by. We want to thank you for joining us, and already the messages are coming in to shout out everybody at the Grantley Adams International Airport. A big celebration today. Hey, so as we move on, we told you that we're going to be talking HR, and the big question is, do you think that your HR department is supporting the strategic goals of your company? That's what we're looking at next on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up.
Morning Barbados will be coming to your parish live every Friday until November. Stay tuned from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. to see which parish we're in. Join us for it all.
Good morning, morning Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up, morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
6 minutes after 7 o'clock. You had such a good time with the Unscramble yesterday. We considered whether we were going to put it in today. I'm not sure. You're just going to have to keep watching so that you will be able to see if we are going to unscramble some Barbadian places, things, or people. We will let you know. Just a little bit of fun in your morning. Of course, I love to encourage you to wear your smiles as well. So let's go right ahead and welcome at this time as we talk HR with HERMAP, Nicholas Roberts, who is the Vice President of HERMAP, and welcome back Joan Underwood, who is the President of the organization, also a professional coach, talent development specialist, author, etc., etc. Good morning.
Morning, teacher.
Hey, good morning.
Good to have both of you with us. And today we're looking at whether your HR is truly a strategic partner in your organization. So a good place to start is talking about what it means to be a strategic partner, Joan.
So if you're a strategic business partner, you are in the room when decisions are being made about the organization's vision, mission, strategy, and strategic objectives. If you're not, someone is going to come out of the room where the decision was made and tell you about it, and then tell you that you are required to support the implementation or the execution of those decisions. So for HR to be a strategic business partner, to get into that room where the decisions are being made, we need to bring certain skills and competencies to the table. First of all, we need to understand the business model. How is it that the organization makes money? If it's a for-profit organization, a government ministry, what exactly is the mandate? How does the organization contribute towards the realization of the national agenda? No, it's not either or. It's both the need to be strategic and the need to be operational. But if all that we're bringing to the table is the operational capacity in HR, then we do not contribute to the decision making. So let me give you a few examples of the strategic execution versus the operational execution. So for example, recruitment and selection is something that needs to happen within any organization. At the strategic level, HR would be involved in workforce planning. So having made and contributed to the making of decisions about the vision, the mission, the strategic objectives, strategic HR as a business partner then says, what are the skills and abilities that we need in order to execute this strategy? Need quantitatively and qualitatively. So how many people we need and what competencies do they need to bring to the table over what period of time? That's the strategic orientation. At the operational level now, we are advertising for an individual job. We're going through the interview and other selection process, onboarding, etc. Another example, if we look at compensation, as a strategic business partner, HR will be involved in setting the compensation philosophy for the organization. Are we going to lead the market in terms of our compensation? Are we going to match the market, or are we going to lag behind the market? And for each of those decisions, there must be a rationale. So when the decision is made, HR is in the room explaining the pros and cons of each compensation philosophy and how it would align with the organization's overall vision and mission.
And speaking of the organization's overall vision and mission, why is it important for organizations to prioritize ensuring that their HR department is truly a strategic goal? And you can take that one for us, Nicholas.
Hi, good morning, teacher. Thanks for that. So as Joe mentioned, if it is that there's no alignment between the HR department or the HR function and the organization, there's going to be misalignment in between the department and the HR function and the organization. So with that being said, as John mentioned, as opposed to HR guiding or advising or leading how it is the people strategy should be rolled out or administered, it is going to be done by people who generally have, for instance, a numbers or operational standpoint or viewpoint of HR. And unfortunately, they do not take sometimes the people aspect into play. So as Joan mentioned, if you look at compensation, if you look at recruitment and selection, if someone that does not have an HR mindset is leading a HR function or having it or looking at it from that viewpoint, then you're going to see, for instance, you're going to have low employee engagement, low employee morale. You're going to see a disconnect between employees and the organization, and you're going to see people coming into the organization who do not necessarily align with the values of the organization. And I think organizations only see the disadvantage of this when the turnover rate of an organization is high. So for instance, you see people leaving an organization at an inordinate rate or a very high rate. You want to know why is this happening, and it's because you do not have someone leading your HR function or an HR practitioner advising your organization who is guiding you, letting you know, well, your people and your organizational strategy are not in alignment.
That's all very interesting. Joan, based on your experience, how do you think, first of all, business leaders and then staff view HR? Joan,
It's not easy for us to.
Okay.
All right. As I was saying, it's not easy for us as HR practitioners to admit it, but it's a reality that we are not perceived by our colleagues within the organization, for the most part, as being sufficiently strategic. They see us as being more administrative or operational. And we need to own that, okay? We need to make a compelling case to get that seat at the table, to be more strategic. And one of the ways in which we can do that is to show up as having the business savvy, the business acumen, to understand the decisions that are made at the macro level and not just as it relates to the operationalization of the typical HR functions. So how do we do that? Again, it's about adding value. So yes, the language of business is accounting. That's the bottom line. That's what they talk about in the C-suite in terms of how are we going to execute in order for us to be able to remain financially viable, to either maintain or augment our market share. These are the conversations that are being held there. And so we need to be able to not just understand that language, but to speak that language as well. So we need to be able to talk about HR matters, the people matters, impacts critical business outcomes. So for example, Nicholas would have mentioned high turnover rate. Now, if as an HR practitioner, I want to have a conversation with the other folks around that C-suite table, I can't just say, we're having too much turnover. I need to be able to quantify how that is impacting our bottom line. I need to be able to qualify how it's impacting our customer service, because those are the variables that businesses monitor. So this is the cost of having to go back to recruitment as often as we're doing. This is the cost of having to onboard again when we just hired someone. This is the lost productivity while we wait for that new employee to get up to speed, as opposed to saying we had 15% turnover. That doesn't mean as much to the other folks in the organization as it means to HR people. So the onus is on us to translate our concerns, to translate what we are seeing into the language of business so that it is more impactful.
Nicholas, how important is it for us to bring regular staff members along on this journey to get business leaders on board, so to speak, with looking at HR as a strategic partner? And how do you do that? Because there's still a lot of people out here in general staff who aren't necessarily sure that HR, the HR department is fully there for them. And that's based on some of what I've experienced and seen myself.
So you're correct, Tisha. So HR unfortunately suffers from the dichotomy that business leaders generally think that HR is for staff and staff generally thinks that HR is for the business. HR should be the linchpin or operating in between what is happening in between the needs of the business and the needs of the employee. With that being said, I think it is that HR needs to understand what is their function, what it is that they are there to do, or unfortunately, they will be reduced to organizing picnics and putting on shows or whatever the case may be. And that is no longer the case or the mandate or function of HR. So HR, first of all, needs to understand what is our strategic imperative as HR practitioners. With that being said, change management is very important and having a communications plan. Because when HR understands what is its role and what is its strategic role within the organization, only then can it communicate it with a level of confidence and authority throughout and within the organization so that it can gain buy-in. Because if we as HR practitioners do not believe what we are saying, then we cannot gain the buy-in from our business leaders, and then by extension, we cannot gain the buy-in from our staff. So once it is HR understands the strategic mandate, so as Joe mentioned, like I said, things of like compensation once again, and recruitment and selection, how are you going to break those down into simple terms to the normal employee to understand to them, well, okay, if it is that you don't get a colleague that can do the job, that can work with you, that can assist you in getting the job done, or if it is that we don't inform IT about what tools are needed for our people, for our staff, then it is going to result in poor customer service. We need to be communicating these things in ways that the business and that employees understand. So change management, communication is very important for HR practitioners.
I know it's now called by another name, and traditionally we thought of data and analytics of being with other departments, but HR departments have been doing data and analytics in different ways, maybe not in a digitized fashion, but certainly in different ways throughout the years. So, all of these roles and functions that you must take on, what would be your advice now to the HR professional or the head of an HR department to ensure that they're truly able to be seen as a strategic partner and still realize all the goals that they need to realize in this particular department? Joan.
All right, so the first thing that I would say is begin with the end in mind. Because these services that we provide, they're not a means, an end unto themselves, but rather a means unto the end. And again, it starts with the business strategy. So the first thing I would say is ensure that you thoroughly understand the business strategy. Having done that, then develop an aligned HR strategy. Ask yourself, what does the HR function need to do to drive this overall business strategy? One of the ways in which you can drive it is how you utilize data analytics. And we have to push for efficiency. We have to be current. We have to utilize the available technology, again, not as an end unto itself, but as a means to give the business the information that it needs in order to advance, to be able to deploy technology and our people effectively and efficiently in service of that overarching business strategy. And it's a key point that you alluded to and that Nicholas expanded on in terms of HR's role, because we serve the business and it's not or, it's and we serve the employees. And everybody, both the business leaders and the individual line staff, tune into a station called WIIFM, What's in It for Me. And so we as HR practitioners need to be able to translate the strategy for the business people and for the employees themselves, so that they see it's not an adversarial arrangement, but that the pursuit of this strategy is done in a way that can serve the best interests of both, and the how we do it in terms of whether we're using data analytics, how are we coming up with evidence to drive and support decision making. That's for us to figure out how we do it in a way that adds value to both sets of interests.
Love it. We FM, WIIFM, what's in it for me? Joan Underwood, president of HERMAP, joined today by Nicholas Roberts, who is vice president. Thank you so much for your time. Have a productive day.
Same to you.
Thank you. Same to you.
We will be right back on Morning Barbados, and we are talking to our resident OBGYN. We're talking post-menopause. You don't want to miss it.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Because you love English Premier League, MCTV has got it back. Now you can watch all the games of the English Premier League plus UEFA and NFL on MCTV. Current customers can upgrade to Matchback Extra at just $23. Call MCTV today at 228-6288 to upgrade or come in and sign up for a new service. Football fans, let MCTV get you back in the game.
When disaster threatens, it is comforting to know there's a team working to deliver credible, comprehensive, and up-to-date information. A team that is committed to serving you. A team that will be there before, during, and after the disaster. That is Team CBC, here for you this hurricane season.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 7:23. If you need to get out of the house, you have to get there by 8 o'clock. Make a move because it's raining. I can actually hear some showers outside of the building here at CBC in the Pine. So whatever is happening in your neck of the woods, make sure that you factor in the extra time to be able to get there on time. All right, so usually when we talk about menopause, we hear basically about women coming to a place where, you know, they stop having a monthly cycle. And we're going to invite Dr. John Barker, consultant obstetrician and gynecologist, to join us now. And we are looking at what happens after that, because we hear so many women say, okay, I've come to the end of my menstrual cycle, and then all of a sudden, you know, it returned for some reason, known as postmenopausal bleeding. So let's talk a little bit about it and what it means. Does it mean that you are reversing the process, you're going backwards perhaps in age, or is this a part of menopause?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me? Good.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, postmenopausal bleeding is abnormal and essentially is bleeding after a patient has stopped her periods for over 1 year. The major significant importance of this is that there's a 10% likelihood that there could be a malignancy behind the bleeding. Usually, as in 90% of the cases, usually due to either a local cause, which would be anywhere from the outside of the vulva up to the uterus, and sometimes inside the uterus you may have like fleshy growths like polyps and fibroids, which could actually cause this bleeding.
All right, and we're told that the probability of there being some type of cancer present, like you said, it is abnormal, is pretty high. So what advice would you give to any woman who's experiencing this?
Right. So any female who has any bleeding should be referred to should go to her GP or be directed to a gynecologist. UK, I used to run post specialized clinics, which would be postmenopausal bleeding clinics, and essentially this was a separate clinic from the normal gynae clinic for these ladies. So once you are seen and history is taken, you are subsequently examined, and the major investigation will be a transvaginal ultrasound to look at the thickness of the lining of the womb. Important risk factors would be like if the patient had breast cancer and was on tamoxifen. Any patient that was on tamoxifen and bleeds is abnormal. Any patient who either has like obesity and diabetes will be at risk for endometrial cancer later on in life. And essentially what we would do was, if we found any abnormality, we do what we call a one-stop clinic. So if the lining of the womb was over 4 millimeters, or if any abnormality was seen, we would actually put a camera inside the womb itself, a procedure called hysteroscopy at the same time, so which is the gold standard.
Doctor, should postmenopausal women have checkups a little more often than women who are younger, their younger counterparts, would you say?
No, essentially, as long as your cervical smear history is normal, you should be fine. However, if you have like certain genetic predispositions, you have like if you have family members with colorectal cancers or something that we call Lynch syndrome, then sometimes their surveillance is actually increased a bit more. But in terms of the general public, as long as you are aware of the symptoms, the important thing is bleeding is abnormal, so you don't bleed and then wait another month or two to get investigated. It's just prompt appearance to your GP or your gynecologist if you have any symptoms.
See that there's bleeding, but not necessarily think that there's any urgency to it. So over what period of time are we talking about to see bleeding, to think, okay, it's time for me to go into my OBGYN?
No, as long as you bleed, that's abnormal, so you should see your GP as soon as possible. In relation to the time frames, like if you're in a public system like in the UK, once you see your GP, you'll be then given a 2-week referral into the actual hospital itself. This would be the same with the QEH. Privately, it's different. As long as you come in, you can actually get seen right away, so there may not be a time lag in relation to being thoroughly investigated.
All right, talk to us about the treatment process once it is seen. I know that you mentioned about the biopsy before and so on, but talk us through what it takes to be able to get past this if it is indeed happening.
Right. So essentially, once we do the transvaginal scan, that would tell us exactly what the thickness of the lining of the womb is, and if there are any irregularities. Now, conventionally, we would do what you call a propel aspirate, which is essentially putting a very small tube through the neck of the womb and taking a biopsy. Now, this has around 93-94% specificity, which means that if there is a cancer abnormality, then it will pick it up. This, however, is a blind technique. The gold standard is actually putting a camera in, which is endoscope, which is called hysteroscopy. So I usually go by the saying, seeing is believing, and tissue is the issue. So the issue would be is that if you do a blind biopsy and it comes back insufficient, you have a 5% chance that you could have a cancer. If you put in the camera and you can see the entire uterine cavity, sometimes you can remove the polyps at the same time or any abnormality at the same time, and you can do that as an outpatient. Sometimes we don't need to put sleep patients to actually remove any pathology in the uterus. It's only in particular cases, and if it's a complex case, then you may think about putting the lady to sleep in the theater. But 94 to 96% of these patients can be seen in the office or in an outpatient setting in the hospital to have this procedure done. Once the procedure is done, we then wait on the lab to come back to us to tell us exactly what we're dealing with. If it is a benign cause, then the patient is reassured in relation to if it is removed. And in relation to the blind biopsy, if it comes back normal, it is fine. If it comes back showing polyps, then you're mandated to do a hysteroscopy to remove these polyps, because sometimes you can have a cancer in the tip of the polyp. So if you actually have polyps, then it should be removed entirely rather than left.
All right, Dr. John, before we go, just tell us about post-treatment management, because, once you get past it, what's it like being able to manage what comes next?
Right. Once the histology is normal, we usually would advise patients that if the bleeding occurs within a 2 to 4 to 6 month period, they have to come back. So this is because, especially if the transvaginal scan had a thickness of less than 4 millimeters, because usually if the scan shows a lining less than 4 millimeters, we would normally discharge. But if the patients come back bleeding, then they have to get a mandatory hysteroscopy procedure, which is putting the camera in as well, and a biopsy. If they came in and the biopsy is fine, then we tell them if they bleed again to come back. The only issues would be if you have abnormality, 3 different abnormalities, which should be simple hyperplasia. We would put in a Mirena coil, which is the gold standard in relation to reverting this mild abnormality back to normal. If it is a complex hyperplasia, then we would advise the patients for hysterectomy because of the 3 to 4% risk of endometrial cancer. The third abnormality would be endometrial cancer. This is dependent on the severity or the aggressive nature of the disease. We would then counsel the patient for either laparoscopic hysterectomy and or lymph node dissection.
All right. Well, ladies, stay on top of what's happening with your bodies. That's all we can leave you with. Dr. Barker, I want to thank you once again for sharing with us. Have a great day.
Thank you.
And we will continue sharing with you as time goes on. For all the sports fans, cricket fans, as a matter of fact, have some good news from Hobart for you in the men's T20 World Cup. West Indies, they've won. That's right. They've won by 31 runs. Final scores, West Indies 153 for 7, Zimbabwe 122. Sounding good. The guys are definitely moving on. Coming up here on Morning Barbados, a little bit of music and roses. We'll tell you all about that and more when we get Dario Devon coming through. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Come on, you got me, make some noise. Are you ready?
Q in the community. Community is on every Thursday in a community near you.
The community is well and alive.
Come on down and, have a line with all of me. The more mature folk come to dance, to sing.
Keep the bones smooth.
Q in the Community is your place to meet friends, to socialize, and just to be you.
Yes, come on down and take in the karaoke.
Whether you're coming from north, south, east, or west, we have a bus for you.
Q in the Community.
Stay tuned to Q100.7 FM to find out where we will be next, and follow us on Facebook.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up.
Morning Barbados will be coming to your parish live every Friday until November. Stay tuned from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. to see which parish we're in. Join us for it all.
Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Butterflies, butterflies. Every time that I look in your eyes, don't know why, not surprised. Cause it's just you and I. Been a while since we've been together. Made it through the stormy weather. Hold on to you through whatever, ever, ever. Look at that smile and
If you don't recognize him from Who's Next, the TV show, you'll recognize him from the talent show Beach to the World from a few years ago. That was Dario Devon, Dario Piggott, singer, songwriter, guitarist, joining us from Toronto. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Barbados. How are you guys?
We are doing well. Great to have you with us early this morning, and even better to hear that you're making new music. Love to see new music coming out. So first of all, get us all caught up on how things are going with you. We haven't seen you for a minute post Beige to the World Season 1.
Yes, so I made a decision to try to do my music here in Canada. I felt like it would have been a better market for it. So I moved here in January. And as soon as I stepped foot on the land in Canada, I did some Google researching, and I been a part of an organization called Beat Cave. It was teaching me about the whole process of creating music and the whole importance of the music business and understanding the music business. And through that project, I met a producer called Audio Butter, and that is where Roses came from.
All right. So how do you feel it would have been different making that move to Canada in terms of making your music as compared to making music here in Barbados?
So I feel like the type of music that I wanted to do was R&B, and I felt like there wasn't really a market for it in Barbados. A lot of the performances I had in Barbados were stuck in the hotel industry, and I guess I felt like there wasn't a big enough market for R&B in Barbados. So that was one of the reasons why I decided to try it in Canada.
So talk to us about this new track, Roses. I absolutely love the visuals around it. Sounding good as well. So talk to me about that.
Thank you. So Roses is really my idea of what love is. When two people come together and they decide to take this journey called life together and make a real partnership. So in that, I put all of that love and all that energy into this song called Roses.
All right. Were you hoping that you're able to take your music? You said that you've met a producer, and I'm sure this is a good foray, a good start into the industry there in Canada. But were you hoping that this music takes you, or were you hoping that you can go with the music?
Well, I'm hoping to go as far as I can. So I'm connecting and networking with different artists here, different producers, different Tube Beat Cave. I'm meeting like different music industry people. We met with the A&R from billboards, and they're kind of giving us insight on what they look for as an artist. So I'm looking to go as far as I can. And I'm also you're gonna see a lot more of my songwriting pen. I'm writing music for TV shows and doing stuff like that. So I'm very, very happy of the opportunities that are here in Canada, and I'm gonna try to take it as far as I can.
Does one outdo the other? Well, I guess I have to split that a few ways because you're a singer, a songwriter, and a guitarist. Do you find that you lean more to one or the other?
I definitely love singing more than anything else. But being a songwriter for my artistry kind of really helped because I don't need to look for somebody to write my songs. I can do it on my own. So I do bring that full package, and that is kind of what the A&R and music people kind of look for. People who have the look, the talent, and the ability to write your own songs. So I think it all goes hand in hand. It all works all together.
That's wonderful. And we know that where the real money is in IP, is in being able to write. So I'm happy that you are moving into that area where you'll be exposed to the world of music. Because when we think about music and making music, we think of music for the stage. But like you mentioned, there's music for television, for commercials, for different types of stages, as in other types of performance, and most certainly writing for others. With that in mind, have you seen any artists in Canada who you might be interested in writing for? I mean, bar the Canadian artist who everybody knows about, Mr. Drake. Is there any Canadian artist that you're thinking, maybe I'd like to connect and see if I can maybe work with this person?
Recently, I did some work at a Spotify studio here, and on the walls they had music from Drake and Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello, and I was like so blown away being in the same area that they did their music at. So, yes, definitely I would like to collab with different artists. But right now I'm growing up my numbers, growing up my talents and my growth here. So in the long run, yes, I would definitely like to collab with the likes of Drake or Shawn Mendes or any Canadian artist that is here.
Tell us where we can find your music so that we can get out there, support it, download it, listen over and over.
Yeah. So it's on all the streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music. I also made a special point to put it on selected charts so that my Barbadian people who might not use Spotify or Apple Music would have access to it. So all my music is going to be selected charts. And if you don't know, selected charts is a Barbadian-owned streaming platform by, I think it was made by Paul Hesden. And you can check out my music on selected charts. Dario Devon, Dario Devon.
Now, I know that you said that you're particularly interested in R&B and that genre of music, but I've seen you do a little bit of soca, and you do soca well also. So does this mean that you're through with the soca and only R&B, or are some soca songs still seeping through your veins?
Definitely. I kind of will be doing a nice mix. I have an Afro song coming out in January called Living, and so I do write various genres, and I don't want to be pegged in only as an R&B artist. I kind of want to branch out and do various and different things. In all my music, what you will hear is that my Barbadian influence is there. The song that is coming out for me in November is called Where You Gain, and that in the whole hook of that song has the Bajan dialect in it. So I want to travel that and put that into my music so that it makes me diverse and unique.
And Dario Devon, I had to go there. For those people who have been hiding under a rock, this is Kid Sight's offspring. So, when we're talking about that, I don't know, soca, but Kid Sight started with reggae, so music is definitely in the veins. What influence has your dad had on the type of music you want to make and how you make music?
A lot of my writing skills I get from it. So I would have seen my father when I was young. he would have like a tape record and he would just like be mumbling like different words and different melodies. And I do this, I do the same thing now. So I even told him that a lot of my talent and my writing ability and my love for music and my competitiveness I also get from him.
That's a lot to inherit, but all good things. I want to thank you, and I see I'm doing my faux turtleneck today, and I see you have your sweater weather sweater.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really great to see you.
And fall
Yeah, really great to see you again, and congratulations on the music and all the strides you're making in the industry.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Dario Devon sharing with us. Make sure you get online to all of those streaming platforms and do check out his new single. It's called Roses. It's time for another break. Then we come back as we get ready to wrap Morning Barbados for this Wednesday. Stay with us.
I bumpy ride, eyes on the prize, on this journey called life. I'm there, hand in hand through the fire, no fear. Whatever you need.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
Because you love English Premier League, MCTV has got it back. Now you can watch all the games of the English Premier League plus UEFA and NFL on MCTV. Current customers can upgrade to Matchback Extra at just $23. Call MCTV today at 228-6288 to upgrade or come in and sign up for a new service. Football fans, let MCTV get you back in the game.
When disaster threatens, it is comforting to know there's a team working to deliver credible, comprehensive, and up-to-date information. A team that is committed to serving you. A team that will be there before, during, and after.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
At 14 minutes before 8 o'clock, we have to welcome Reverend J. Timothy Roberts and Pastor Matthew Thorne, the former being the Executive Director of Walking in Wholeness in Barbados, and the latter being the Director of Walking in Wholeness in Barbados. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us. Great place for me to start. What is Walking in Wholeness in Barbados?
Well, Walking in Wholeness Barbados is an amazing opportunity for people to come into an integrated health in spirit, soul, and body. I think the fastest way to get a handle on this is when King Solomon was writing the Proverbs in the Bible, he said something very significant. He said that in Proverbs chapter 15, verse 13, that the sorrowful heart breaks the spirit. And then in chapter 17, verse 22, he says that the broken spirit dries up the bones. Well, there you've got soul, spirit, and body all affecting each other. Now, in our bones, we have our blood and our immune system that's created in the marrow. And when we have dried up bones, we'd have compromised blood and immune system. We get allergies, we get sick easier. And then we go to the doctor and he examines us in the way that he's been trained, bless God. But whoever goes back and asks you, who broke your heart? Because that's where it all started. And that's what we do in this ministry. And we have seen, as we treat the whole person, holistically, if you will, in the light of our Creator's principles, backed by medical science, that we've seen even autoimmune diseases turned around. Praise God.
Pastor Thorne, Talk to us a little bit more about that, because you say you're not necessarily a church per se, but you're a part of a group of churches who encourage, teach, and transform lives according to the Word of God. So how are you able to reach people, first of all, and share your ministry and, of course, engage or interact with them?
Awesome. Thank you. Good morning again. Such a pleasure being here to share with you and all of beautiful Barbados this morning. So yeah, as Pastor Tim was sharing, we are a healing, deliverance, teaching ministry. And yes, so we do lend support to local churches here. We're not an actual church. We are made up of members from different churches across Barbados with the Spirit of God working within us. So we have members from different churches. We're covered by Restoration Ministries here, led by Apostle Jordan in Gansai Road in St. Michael. So our aim essentially is to be the hope that Barbadians desperately need at this point in time. And that comes through our interaction, networking with pastors, networking with schools and other Christian and non-Christian organizations, helping people to become the best version of themselves. And if you look at what the word says, the best version of ourselves is found in the image that God has for us to be in the earth. You know, we live in a time where there is no purpose, there's no plan, there is no God. But every person always has that deep sense of longing or fulfillment where there's a need and there's something that they're going after, and that's how God has created us to serve, to worship Him. And I think love, hope, and faith as basic tenets are the key principles that He wants us to operate by. So we come alongside ministries, primarily churches, and we help their members, their leadership, to become all that they can be in Christ.
Well, that's really great to hear, because, Reverend Roberts, a lot of the times we see various groups so divided along denomination that they don't recognize the commonalities that we all share. So talk to me more about how you are connecting. I know you've been around since 2012, but you obviously are making moves, because here you are here with me on television. So talk to me more about, those strategic moves you're making to get out there more and connect more with the people of Barbados.
Thank you for the question. That's excellent. Obviously, we're here on Good Morning Barbados, and I love it. And we are seeking to cooperate with the schools to help children work through their issues, to learn some basic, amazing principles that are relational and that allow the children, many of whom don't come from homes that are not as stable as they'd love to see. Some are very dysfunctional, some are fatherless. And just for us to be able to go in and plant hope and teach what is forgiveness, relational things, what are some of the strongholds that we all tend to grow up with, certain fears, feeling rejected, anger, because stuff is happening to us outside our control. How do we handle all of that? So working with the schools, we've offered our services to businesses, employers. We'd love to be able to work with employers, employees, and help the employees and employers have an amazing relationship, working relationship, and therefore production. And when we put into practice really God's kingdom principles, there's blessing that comes with that. And that's what we love to do, is just bless people. So really, wherever it is, whether it's government, we've tried to connect with government officials even and just come alongside of them and support them, or whether it's spiritual leaders, or whether it's the person meet somebody on the street and they have a need, well, we'll pray for them, we'll come alongside of them, we'll minister to them. And just something as simple as teaching how powerful forgiveness is and what is true forgiveness, so that we have seen arthritis healed. We've seen all kinds of things happen. Even the medical community has done experiments and understands now that people heal faster when they forgive. Just a lot of exciting things where we can offer this. We've had PSWs, doctors, nurses come through our ministry, and they get excited because they see another aspect which perhaps was not included in their preparation in school, but is very real and can really help them in their practice in helping people.
I want to repeat something you just said that resonates with me. People heal faster when they forgive. Yes, let's ponder on that for a moment. How do we connect with you, Pastor Thorne? I know you said you're in various churches and you're working through the church leaders, but we had Reverend Roberts talking about connecting with employers, employees, with schools and students. So how do we make this connection?
Yeah. And I just want to add just real quick to what Reverend Roberts was sharing. Even most recently with our students and some of the challenges we were having governmentally with the schools, that's also an area that we had an opportunity, because God always places opportunities for us to plug in, for us to have impact, measurable impact in young people's lives, as that's a big part of what we like to do, right? And recently, over the past couple of weeks, just based on the challenges, as we would be aware, that was a great opportunity where persons were able to reach out to us for advice, for counseling, and we were able to lend our services to schools across Barbados and try to reorient the young minds most recently, past couple of weeks. But yes, in terms of contact, they can get in touch. You can get in touch with us at 231-4223. And you can also get in touch, that would be a direct contact from myself. I'm happy to connect with you. You can also get in touch with Nola Boyce. She is one of the directors here in Barbados, and her contact number would be 263-5285. 263-5285. We would love to be in touch. We would love to share more about our ministry. And as I said, help people be the best version of themselves. I think that's something that people don't know they can be, because there's so much spiritual bankruptcy, there's so much hopelessness, especially coming out of COVID, where people just need help. They just need somewhere to reach out to, someone to connect with, and that's where we come in as a restoration of hope, a restoration of the hope of glory, as First Colossians talks about. So that's who we are.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us. We all need a little bit of spiritual healing at some point in time. And I think this is a great place to kind of bring the program to today, with all that's happening all across the world and most definitely here in Barbados. So thank you, Pastor Matthew Thorne and Reverend Timothy Roberts of Walking in Wholeness for Barbados, for coming in and sharing with us this morning.
It's our honor, and thank you so much.
An absolute pleasure. Just want to declare blessings over the entire Barbados, prosperity, and simply whatever you set out to do today, declare and decree that you will succeed at it, and everything that you have in store for you, you would receive in Jesus' name. We bless you, and we love you. Thank you so much.
We receive that. Thank you. We're going to take a break and come back on Morning Barbados, where we wrap it all up. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up.
Morning Barbados will be coming to your parish live every Friday until November. Stay tuned from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. to see which parish we're in. Join us for it all.
Good morning. Morning Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So we certainly hope you had a wonderful day with us, because we had a great day with you. I'm breaking out the old cell phone because we have to say good morning to a few people who helped to make Gaia, Grantley Adams International Airport, what it is. Happy anniversary, happy 84th anniversary, and some of the names that we'll be exploring maybe in future right here on CBC TV: Pat Callender, Ted Went, Joseph Johnson, and of course, like I told you, Clyde Outram, some of the real stalwarts of what was happening in the early beginnings. We certainly will look into that. So happy, happy anniversary. There's another anniversary coming up tomorrow as well, and we'll tell you more about that one for the air traffic controllers. So that's it for Morning Barbados for today. Coming up tomorrow, we take you to Africa as we look at another exceptional youth. We're talking about Global Business Week with BIBA, and we'll link how they are working with mental health. There's a walk coming up. We'll tell you more about that. The Kiwanis will be in as we continue to highlight service groups and what they're doing. They're talking about their Let's Read Again program, and the BMA's Trade and Innovation Summit 2022 Expo it will be on show. That's all coming up tomorrow on Morning Barbados. Be sure to join us then. So have a great day today, and remember to wear your smile. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good